What's up everybody, I'm Marco, this is Marco Has a Plan, and you are watching the final video of my PFSense build. And as always, I want to do this in one take because I'm really lazy when it comes to editing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the part 1 to 4 are online, or they should be online when this is online. So you can watch them, go back, and you can see everything I did and what I did it with. Yeah. Just a little summary. I had a PFSense. It was a virtual machine of my Dell R710, but the thing about that was that a lot of the times only the PFSense would be the only virtual machine running, and running a PFSense on a server with 24 cores and 128 gigabytes of RAM doesn't make sense, because it takes some electricity, it takes some power, and that means it costs some money to run it, especially here in Germany, where electricity is actually more on the expensive side. So I decided that I wanted to get a smaller box to build a dedicated PFSense. It didn't need, it doesn't have to be powerful. It just needs to work, and it has to have as little power consumption as possible. As you know, English is not my native language. And yeah, I did that, and I bought a PCEngines APU 2C4, and it's got an AMD Geode CPU, I guess. Yeah, it must be a Geode. And 4 gigabytes of RAM, and I put in 32 gigabyte SATA SSD, and I installed PFSense. And then yeah, I did a little testing, a little VPN testing, a little filtering, a little performance testing, and now we are here. And the last video I did, I guess I did 3 weeks ago, and between then and now I installed the PFSense. And I'm sorry I didn't take any, I didn't record any footage of me doing that, and it's loud in the server room, and it was more like a spontaneous thing I did, and it took me about 3 or 4 hours to get this done. Or to get most of it done. When I was done with that, the virtual one and the new one were running basically a little bit in parallel. And on another day, in about 2 hours or something like that, I was able to shut down the old one, and I also reconfigured my switch stack. I basically removed almost all interfaces, almost all VLAN interfaces there, and yeah, my PFSense does basically, or the PFSense, the new PFSense does basically all the routing right now. And yeah, I just want to show you what I did, how it looks like at the moment. And this is not finished, okay? There's a lot of stuff I have to set up. You will see it when I log in. I still have the standard password. I'm going to change this in the next few days or weeks, but I wanted to get this part, or this series of videos done, because I told myself that I would not start uploading videos before the whole series of videos was done. So when I'm done with that, I can finally start to upload videos. And yeah, so let's just change my view, and you can see that I'm at the login screen. And you can see that I accessed the PFSense by going to 10.1.10.30.1. So 30.1 is one of the addresses of an interface, a VLAN interface of the PFSense. And as I told you, standard username, standard password, and there we are. And as you can see, I have created a bit of a dashboard, and I'm a fan of dashboards. And yeah, you can see that the PFSense is still named PFSense, pfsense.local domain. I'm going to change that as soon as my AD infrastructure is up, or as soon as I have a domain again, because I have to create a new domain. But this time I want to create a domain, or I want to use a public domain that I really have as my domain name here. And so I still have to decide for a domain I already have or to get a new one. I'm not really decided on that, but domains in Germany, at least DE domains, are relatively cheap, so I might go with that. I'm connected to the PFSense from 10.12.159. I'm admin, local database, blah blah blah. As I said, PCEngines APU2. Blah 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 blah. I have activated ASNI. Hardware crypto is available for this. It's an the PFSense has an uptime of 17 days. I had to shut down the PFSense 17 days ago because I did some cable organization in the lab or in the server room, and it was necessary to shut it down to make everything look a little nicer over there. It's still not perfect, but we are getting there slowly. So 17 days, and as you can see down here, we have some interface statistics, and we have 106.6 gigabytes or gigabytes coming in through my WAN connection, and this is actually not really correct because of these 17 days, there were 10 days that I wasn't here. I was in the US for 10 days for the company I work for, and that means I consumed or I downloaded 106 gigabytes in 7 days. That's not bad. It's quite some data that I'm consuming right here, and I uploaded 2 gigabytes. Not bad. And yeah, that's just for now. Let's go over to the interfaces and what I did here. As you know, or if you want to know, go to the first video or the second, third, or fourth. The PCEngines APU2C4 has 3 NICs, and basically I would only need 2, LAN and WAN. And I decided to go with a lag interface, or to create a lag interface for my LAN connection. So I took IGP1 and IGP2, and I created lag, an LECP link aggregation, and I called this thing LAN. And on the other side, I created a PPPoE interface on IGP0, and it goes out to my provider. My provider in Germany is the Telekom, and my connection is VDSL 100 down and 40 up. I'm not going into the edit screen because there you can see my username, and I guess we don't need that. Also, I set up some VLANs 11, 12, 16, and 30. We go top down, so we start at 30. 30 is for my management interfaces. Like for like for the PFSense. At the moment, you could or you would reach the web interface on all the interfaces or the interface IP addresses the PFSense has. When I'm done with everything, you will only be able to reach the web interface on the 10.1.10.30.1. And VLAN 30 is for management stuff. So I have the Dell R710 in the lab or in the server room, and it has a thing called iDRAC, like ILO on HP and whatever everything they are called, and it's got an IP in the management VLAN. It's got the 10.1.10.30.40. And I have management interfaces on the 2 devices of my Wi-Fi bridge between these 2 houses, and I have a management interface on my access point here. And yeah, so whenever I have management stuff, I create management interfaces and I put them into the VLAN 30. VLAN 16 for servers. All servers get an address out of the VLAN 16, and there's no DHCP there. These addresses are all assigned manually. VLAN 12 is for clients, and by clients at the moment I mean all clients. At least, let me just all clients over there and here in the basement. Up there, it's another story. We get to this in a minute. But at the moment, all clients get VLAN 12, and that means that this PC has an address out of VLAN 12. My MacBook has an address out of VLAN 12. My phone has an address out of VLAN 12. But also the Google Home Mini has an address out of VLAN 12. My printer, my Fire TV stick. And that is something that I would have to segment out a little bit more, because I guess I would, yeah, let's just leave it at that. At the moment, it's all clients. In the future, it might be different. And finally, old sub, VLAN 11. Old sub. In old sub, we only have basically one physical connection, and one physical connection to an old sub is actually a connection between a switch in the basement here and a TP-Link up there in the kitchen. And the TP-Link up there is connected to its own internet connection. So the internet connection I use basically is over there in another house in... Yeah, it's in another house. The one I showed you, the PPP connection, is not here. It's in the other house where the lab or the server room is. In this house, we have our own separate internet connection, and the connection is made by a TP-Link VR600V, I guess. So it's a modem, a router, an access point, a switch, and next to that it only has phone service functionalities, and it also is a DECT base station. So it is really hard to get rid of. And at the moment, I only use it so I can have access to it at some point, but I do not do a lot with it. So it's I call it old sub, but it's segmented out. It's not really important. I do not use it. I'm making plans to integrate it into this network, but not right now. And if we go back to our dashboard, you can actually see that, because in interfaces right here, you can see VLAN 11. And VLAN 11 has the interface of VLAN 11 here has an IP of 192.168.1.1. The TP-Link is actually the 192.168.1.254. Yeah. So the TP-Link does everything in its own, basically in its own network. It does DHCP, it does DNS, and so on and so on. So there's no traffic actually. So as you can see it over here, VLAN 11, there's some incoming traffic, but there's no outgoing traffic. And I tell you why in a minute. But other than that, we have VLAN 12, 16, and 30. Interface addresses is always 10.110.12.1, 16.1, or 30.1. And our WAN connection, uptime 13 hours, because we get separated once every day, and the connection has to be re-established. But I guess I have never noticed that until now. And yeah, we have my gateway. My gateway is up. My monitoring IP is 8888, so I'm monitoring using the Google server. I have services running all okay. I have a smart status. The SSD is healthy. And let's just go on to the firewall and to my rules. And I have no floating rules, and you can see on VLAN 11 I have no rules. That means all traffic that comes in from VLAN 11 gets dropped. So we do not send out any, we do not respond to traffic from VLAN 11. And on VLAN 12, 16, and 30, it's all the same at the moment because I'm still a little bit in the testing phase, and there's just one rule for all these VLANs or for all these interfaces. It's just allow everything, and I really have to spend some time here, or a lot of time here, to make this right, and I'm going to do this in the future, in the next few weeks, I guess. On my WAN connection, you can see I only have standard rules which block some things. I do not have any allow rule because I do not allow any traffic from the WAN connection at the moment, because I do not have any OpenVPN set up right now. And okay, I guess we can go back, and I want to make this as short as possible, and it's already 16 minutes, so I mean, whatever. And yeah, that's it. That concludes the project. I'm sorry that I did not show you how I installed the PFSense in the rack. If you would like to see my rack, my server rack, just ask for it in the comments. I might do a tour. I would have to think about how to do this, or how the best way to do this would be, because it's really loud over there. I guess the server is not running at the moment, which is basically the reason why I did this. So I'm saving a little bit on electricity at the moment. I think about destroying my switch stack, and go from 2 switches to just 1 switch, because the hardware over there, or the services running over there, are not so important that I cannot live with a little downtime. I don't know. I guess I have to see that. But yeah, that's it for now. Any questions, ask them. Thumbs up, greatly appreciated. Subscription, even more appreciated than that. And I have a lot of stuff planned. I have some videos that I think about doing. And yeah, if you want to see them, subscribe, click the bell, and thank you for watching.